Hey, Team 300. It is September 3. Here we are on Sunday afternoon. It's raining up here in the Northeast, but it pales in comparison to what's been going on naturally, as you all well know, down in Houston, Texas. So please keep everyone down there in your thoughts and prayers. I know that I was able to reach out to one of our great instructors. She's a captain with the Houston Police Department, Cheryl Victorian, and her precinct is high and dry right now, but they are working with a number of shelters. And Southern Hampshire University, I'm proud to say we are reaching out to them, and a substantial amount of supplies as well as monies are being forwarded from the top administrators, including the president of the university, as we speak. So I like to see all these things come together, especially being a retired member of the law enforcement community and the first responder environment. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. If you go down to that area, my number is 603-858-3817. You guys know how to get a hold of me if you need to. 603-858-3817. In the interim, I'm hoping you're having a good Labor Day weekend and you get a chance to unplug and relax because we're about to get to work here in Mod 1. So take a look. The thing about screen reading is you've got to make sure that most people don't. About 90% of people who read on screen don't scroll down. So make sure you scroll through everything that's there. Take your time, minimize your distractions, and please use some sort of calendar system to slate your schedule when you have time to go into the Shapiro Library to find the stuff you need, when you have time to read any attached articles or watch the videos, etc. Make sure you take the time. Also read through the rubrics. The rubrics are a guide. They have a tendency to chunk things out, and that's good or bad, but that's not here. We're not here to debate that. So make sure you read the rubric. What is being asked of you? Okay? And if you have questions, you look at that. What does that phrase, what does that term mean? Ask me. I'll break it down for you. And each week I will break these tasks down to try to make life a little easier. Because reading on screen with all the distractions between Facebook and Call of Duty and all that sort of thing, whatever, can be very difficult. Or the kids are tugging on your pant leg, and you've got to run an errand, go to soccer practice, or whatever. You have to plan your time accordingly because it takes time to be able to plan your writing and allow yourself some time maybe to revise and to go to the writing center. If I recommend highly that you go. Okay, so your timing is everything. Make sure that you plan your week out, and if there's any issues or problems, I will work together with you, individually, because I do understand the demands on the adult's time. I get it. So let's go through Mod 1. First of all, gang, you're in this course because we are problem solvers. That's where we're supposed to be, by and large. And it takes brains, it takes willpower, it takes articulation, it takes the ability to be precise. In our world, we have to be precise to the point no one can misunderstand us. All right? So we ask questions. We are problem solvers. Because research findings, gang, are used to make decisions, expend resources, ask for money, okay, design college curriculum, conducting research in an ethical manner. As you saw, I'm assuming you watched the video and you're responding to the first discussion board, is key. What it really means for us here, okay, naturally, we have to be very careful. If you're going to be interviewing people for any particular research project, you have to be mindful and respectful of their privacy and all that. But what I'm going to be looking for ethically is an absence of your own subjectivity, interjecting your own small opinion as to why something may be happening, why bad people do bad things, right? And overall, that's our general question. Why do they do bad things? So you have to be very respectful. And that will also help you understand which kind of research methods you should be using to get to the truth. When I embarked on my dissertation with the upper echelon members of the Irish Mafia and Italian Mafia in Boston, Massachusetts, I didn't have a clear path in terms of what kind of research strategy I was going to use. I really didn't know. But I let them guide me. In order to get to the truth, I actually avoided some of those first pain point questions that I had in my mind, which were, why do you guys kill people? That type of thing. Why do you live on the edge? But once I was interacting and listening to them, I realized that certain research strategies, methodologies, okay, would come into play to my advantage, to allow me to write a dissertation that got to the bottom of my inquiry. My question was, why? Why do they do these things? But the most important framework that I had was, yes, I asked the question, why? Okay. But in order to get to that answer, I had to understand who they were as people. All right. So I used a variety of methods to get to the truth, how they live. how they interact with family, what kind of language they use, etc. How do they manage time? It's very, very, there are a lot of different aspects that led me towards, a strong dissertation that really did get, in many respects, to the bottom of it, to help people understand. See, if you're writing for research, the end game is to be able to find out something that may be new and original. Good luck, but that actually just contributes to a larger body of knowledge that is applied by us here in our social sciences criminal justice universe to go after problems. So, researcher John Smith says, well, in theory, kids will get in trouble between the hours of 4 and 7. Now I'm going to go find some data and statistics that support that, and based upon that, we hopefully will come up with a remedy. So you look at after-school programs. Okay, so kind of an analogy or a general example. That's what we do. So we see something going on, we need to investigate it, we need to find out who said what about it previously, so we can contribute to that. Factual research-based knowledge, and that's where information literacy comes in. So we ask questions. Some of the questions are, as an example, just so kind of gets you into this frame of thinking. Do specialized sexual assault units and police agencies produce better investigations? What are American Indian women's experiences when they report their victimization to police or talk with an advocate? How about this one? How many more domestic violence victims make it out alive in jurisdictions where firearm surrenders laws are consistently enforced against their abusers? What are some of those cost-effective approaches to preventing and responding to domestic and sexual violence? How should colleges and universities handle sexual assaults on their campuses? So you got to get the question wheels turning. Look at a problem, because this week you have a worksheet that you have to hit, and you've got to get it to me. You got to really go out and you've got to identify a problem that you want to investigate. So consider this an investigation. A lot of people get highs. Oh, it's research. It means I've got to come up with all kinds of data, and I've got to do data analysis, regression analysis. I have to do all this, and then I have to code into. No, let's get one small step done at a time. Chunk it out. So what you hold near and dear to you in terms of something passionate. Now, I read a couple of discussion posts, the initial ones in the Getting Started, and they have a pretty good handle on what motivates you. One of the posts was, somebody's interested in working juveniles. All right. My job is to help you kind of hyper-focus that so you're not overwhelmed, because research can get out of hand very quickly. Okay. Make sure you watch the video about ethics and research. Good post, by the way, thus far. Please watch that. It's very important to get you thinking how you're going to approach this. So it's not some sort of opinion-based conversational piece. It has to be, an accurate, fact-based effort. Okay. And I'll work with you on that. This is not writing that most people are used to. It's a very different style of writing. It's very simple and it's very focused, but it has to have the absence of your opinion. The only time you're formulating some of the quasi-opinion is when you're generating a theory, your question, why does this happen? And then you're going to say, well, I believe it happens. Your hypothesis, I believe it happens because of blank, blank, blank. And I'm going to use these research methods to prove it, or hopefully try to prove it, or show that there is a relationship between A and B. So it's kind of want to keep it chunked and keep it simple. Like a criminal investigation, you're going to ask why. So informationally, make sure you read the excellent article. There's a great article in it about how the criminological research has created tremendous advantages for interview and interrogation practices by the police. Very, very good article. Okay. It does help develop rapport and a number of things. So make sure you read through it carefully. It's great brain candy. So what is information literacy? You've got to go find stuff that other people have written that has been certified or peer reviewed. In other words, it's real stuff. They're not making it up. They went and found out and wrote about it, and they have resources to back it up. So what does it mean in terms of pertaining to knowledge? All right. It helps you to define different types of authority, who the subject matter experts are, what are their credentials? Where'd you get this information that makes it legitimate that you can actually put into your investigation? Adding to knowledge, you're going to use research tools and indicators of authority to determine the credibility of your resources. All right, make sure that they are credible, which means in all likelihood they have to be and will be peer reviewed, usually found in various journals. I'm assuming most of you have poked around and utilized the Shapiro Library. The e-library is phenomenal. If you have any questions, I'll put you in direct contact with a librarian. I will help you with that, because you've got to really if you're looking for information that's pertaining to a literature review. In other words, what has been said about what you're looking at, what you're investigating. It's key that you understand how to do a search in the Shapiro eLibrary. It's great, it's fast, okay, but I will help you so it doesn't meander and get lost into the weeds of so many different pieces of research that may have some relationship. All right, the key words that you use are, well, they are key to isolating and refining the stuff you need to do. All right. So I don't want to say that we're going to, I don't want to oversimplify. I want to if there's a word, let's just uncomplicate things, all right, in our approach. But you're going to have to read. Reading increases your language power. And your language power, I'm not saying you have to use flowery language, will help you to be precise. So what you're writing, okay, can be understood by audiences outside of our discipline. I am your audience. When you are writing, convince me. Pretend I am your student. All right? Make no assumptions that I know what you're speaking to. So be very clear in your writing. Again, if your writing has certain deficits and it's not up to standards for a 300-level university course, I'm going to have you go to the Writing Center and allow you to revise. If you don't go to the Writing Center, then I'm taking the revision opportunity off the table. It's not punitive. It's to get you to the level that you need to be. So when you're out there in the workplace, in the work field, and you want to move up or whatever it may be, I want you to look back and say, what I learned in that course have helped me substantially with my ability to communicate in the employment-related environment. In other words, on the job. We cannot be misunderstood at all. So make sure you're reading so you can enhance your repository of language to help you be precise in your descriptions. Conversational language, street language will not cut it. You can't use slang at all. At all. No TTLs or BRBs or whatever, none of that. You have to be very focused and specific. And the way to do that is the way I had to do it, because I wrote like a cop for a long time, and I wrote somewhat conversationally. I wrote good reports, but it's a different kind of writing. All right, so I had to read how other people wrote for research to really get a handle on the framework. So you've got to read. That takes time, plan your reading time. Quiet time, so your mind can focus. You can see the rhythm of how researchers write. Okay? There's a number of different advantages, and you can read through those because I'm going to post them in the announcement box anyway. All right? Don't forget about the worksheet. Take a look at that. If you have any questions, give me a shout. And again, any issues with writing that you think you may have, or I see, I will send you to the Writing Center, and I will help you. I will be as explicit as I possibly can and supportive in terms of feedback, so you know what needs to be done. All right? All right? The landscape in terms of employment out there is getting more, it's competitive. All right? So you want to make sure that you are in a great competitive position when you leave this university, when you leave the online environment, so that when you speak, you can speak with authority, you can speak based upon facts, okay, relevance, and exactitude. All right, so that's this week coming. Plan your week. Respond to the discussion board posts, and any issues or problems, give me a call. Have a great Sunday afternoon and Monday.